What if the real power behind billion-dollar empires wasn't the billionaire, but his wife? What if the woman behind the throne didn't need the spotlight because she already owns the world from behind the scenes? They don't host press conferences. They don't tweet business strategies. And yet, they sit on boards, fund political campaigns, reshape education systems, own art that could crash auctions, and walk through palaces where even royalty waits. Who are these women? From a former model who became First Lady of the United States to a school teacher who built a cultural empire in India. From the heiress controlling Walmart's future to the silent strategist directing Silicon Valley from the shadows. How do they balance silent elegance with unstoppable influence? What secrets lie behind the closed doors of billion-dollar bedrooms, crystal-draped theaters, and underground vaults filled with power? And most importantly, why don't you know more about them? Welcome to the unseen, unshaken world of billionaire wives, where silence isn't weakness. It's domination in its most polished form. Buckle up. You're about to meet the women who quietly rule the world. Melania Trump. How does a Slovenian model ascend to the White House twice and remain a mystery the entire time? Melania Trump, with an estimated net worth of $70 million, is far more than just the wife of Donald J. Trump. She is a masterclass in controlled visibility. From walking European runways to residing in gold-drenched penthouses atop Trump Tower, Melania's life has always glimmered with strategic elegance. As First Lady from 2017 to 2021, and again since 2025, she launched the Be Best initiative, focusing on cyberbullying and child well-being, all while maintaining an iron grip on her image. Melania turned her mystique into money, licensing her images for millions, partnering with luxury brands, and signing a $40 million documentary deal with Amazon in 2025 to tell her version of the story. Despite political storms, media obsession, and countless controversies surrounding her husband, Melania remains poised, polished, and silent. From Mar-a-Lago to Manhattan, aboard private jets and behind velvet ropes, Melania doesn't chase the spotlight, she owns it. Her greatest strength? Saying little and letting the world do the talking. Salma Hayek Pinot. What happens when Hollywood royalty marries the king of French fashion? You get Salma Hayek Pinot, an award-winning Mexican-American actress, producer, and global icon, now intertwined with one of the most powerful empires in luxury. Married to François-Henri Pinault, the billionaire CEO of Kering, which owns Gucci, Balenciaga, and Yves Saint Laurent, Salma lives a life wrapped in couture and legacy. Her net worth of $200 million only scratches the surface of her influence. She resides in historic French chateaux, travels in private jets, and is a fixture on the front rows of fashion weeks from Paris to Milan. But beyond the red carpet, Salma is a fierce advocate for women's rights, cultural diversity, and global humanitarian causes. She serves on the board of Gucci's Chime for Change and supports initiatives from refugee aid to domestic violence awareness. Salma doesn't just wear luxury, she redefines it with purpose, passion, and timeless power. Nita Ambani. What happens when a graceful dance instructor marries the wealthiest man in Asia? You get Nita Ambani, a former teacher turned cultural architect of modern India, with a personal net worth of over $3 billion. And married to Mukesh Ambani, whose family fortune exceeds $117.8 billion, Nita has transformed from quiet elegance into unstoppable influence. She lives in Antilia, the $2 billion vertical palace towering over Mumbai, 27 floors of opulence, including a snow room, helipads, spa, 168-car garage, and 600 full-time staff. But Nita is far more than luxury. She chairs the Reliance Foundation, one of India's largest philanthropic institutions, and founded the Dhirubhai Ambani International School, an elite institution for the next generation of Indian leaders. In 2023, she unveiled the Nita Ambani Cultural Center, a world-class performance venue crowned by a chandelier of 8,400 Swarovski crystals. This isn't just about wealth, it's about building a legacy of art, education, and power. Laurene Powell Jobs. What happens when the wife of Steve Jobs inherits billions and chooses purpose over fame? Laurene Powell Jobs, now worth $14.7 billion as of 2025, didn't just inherit Apple's fortune, she inherited its ethos of transformation. After Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, Laurene didn't retreat into quiet wealth. Instead, she launched the Emerson Collective, a bold, forward-thinking organization that champions education, immigration reform, climate innovation, and social justice. Her mission: to create systemic change where it's needed most. She chairs The Atlantic, using journalism to shape cultural and political discourse, and co-founded the XQ Institute, aiming to reinvent the outdated American high school system. Laurene is also a significant investor in green technology, media ventures, and civic engagement platforms. Unlike many billionaires, she avoids the limelight. Her luxury is measured in influence, not excess. For Laurene, legacy is not defined by inheritance or spotlight. It's determined by impact. She's not just preserving Steve Jobs' vision, she's expanding it into a future only she dares to imagine. Christy Walton. Who inherited billions and vanished into nature? Christy Walton, widow of John T. Walton, son of Walmart founder Sam Walton, became one of America's wealthiest women in 2005. With a net worth of $19.5 billion in 2025. She chose Wyoming's quiet wilderness over Wall Street buzz. But don't mistake silence for absence. From green energy initiatives to scholarships for underprivileged youth, Christy pours her fortune into environmental preservation and education. She funds nature centers and sustainable foundations, proving that wealth can be used to protect, not just for a red carpet. No scandals, just a billionaire who lets her money move mountains, quietly. Iris Fontbona. What does life look like when you control an empire buried in the mountains? At 83 years old, Iris Fontbona is no quiet heiress. She's the reigning queen of Latin America's mining fortune. With a net worth of $30.1 billion, she commands Antofagasta plc, a global mining titan, alongside stakes in banking, beverages, and media. Widow of Andronico Luxic Abaroa, Iris now travels in private jets, resides in armored Chilean estates, and quietly orchestrates billion-dollar moves from the shadows. Her sons handle much of the operations, but make no mistake, she's the empire's backbone. In Chile's boardrooms and beyond, her name carries weight. Because in a world of moguls, Iris isn't loud, she's legendary. Julia Flesher Koch. What happens when you inherit $74.2 billion and choose elegance over attention? Julia Flesher Koch, widow of industrialist David Koch, became the wealthiest woman on the planet after his passing in 2019. Now worth $74.2 billion, 2025. Julia doesn't chase headlines. She shapes legacies quietly. From the Met to the Smithsonian, her name echoes in the world's most elite art circles. She funds museums, educational causes, medical research, and cultural institutions with quiet precision, rarely photographed, yet always present. While others flaunt wealth, Julia moves through society's most exclusive spaces like a whisper of influence. She's not just a billionaire widow, she's a curator of power, privacy, and generational impact. Alice Walton. What does the world's richest woman do, with no husband, no heirs, and no need for approval? Alice Walton, daughter of Walmart founder Sam Walton, sits on a staggering $105.3 billion fortune as of July 2025. But forget designer drama and red carpets. Alice lives for art, horses, and quiet power. She founded the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, pouring millions into preserving culture. Her days shift between serene ranches in Texas, exclusive equestrian farms, and high-stakes boardrooms, where she influences education, healthcare, and climate initiatives. She's never been married, and never needed to be. Alice doesn't just spend wealth, she shapes legacy. In a world obsessed with couples, she proved that some women rule solo and rewrite history doing it. Lucinda Southworth. What happens when you marry one of the wealthiest tech titans on Earth, and then vanish from the spotlight? Lucinda Southworth, wife of Google co-founder Larry Page, worth a staggering $159 billion, is the definition of mysterious influence. A scientist with a PhD in biomedical informatics from Stanford, Lucinda could have ruled headlines. Instead, she rules from the shadows. No interviews, no public posts, just silent power. She co-leads the couple's massive philanthropic efforts, including support for X Prize, climate change research, and cutting-edge healthcare initiatives. While Page helped build Google, Lucinda built a legacy. Their private island vacations, ultra-secure estates, and whispered appearances at elite tech summits keep the world guessing. Is she the most powerful woman no one talks about? In a world obsessed with fame, Lucinda's silence speaks volumes. Why does the world watch the wives, not just the billionaires? Because behind every empire lies collaboration, influence, and vision, and often a woman quietly steering it all. From Slovenian catwalks to Mumbai skyscrapers, from cultural powerhouses to tech philanthropy, these women define the trillionaire life beyond diamonds and dynasties. Hit like, subscribe, and share if you want more stories of the real power behind mega wealth. And don't miss our next deep dive into luxurious lives.